All right, now let's bring in some better minds here, okay? Former FBI agent, NewsNation's Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffindaffer, former FBI profiler Jim Clemente. I'm sure your eyebrows went up because it's not like your hair's going to go up, but I'm sure your eyebrows went up when you heard me mention Dorner because we lived that situation together. And let's start there, Jim, with why. Remember how frightening that was, that you had a guy with animus and capabilities, and the authorities were worried about taking him on, especially fighting him on his own terrain.
Yeah, absolutely. And this guy, the fugitive now in Maine, actually shows indicators that he's also an injustice collector, just like Dorner was. And that is his letter that he left giving instructions to his son apparently had a number of rants in them. And if those were about perceived injustices, and obviously we heard about this fight that he had with his girlfriend and they broke up, and also these four men who maybe these deaf guys that he hung around with, that he was hearing voices from them talking behind his back. These kinds of things and this paranoia is an indicator of an injustice collector, and they can be extremely dangerous.
Jennifer, in terms of what we understand about his past, that helps us take a look at his present. Not like you. Not trained to train other people how to use weapons, but familiar with weapons, interested in weapons. That changes the analysis a little bit, right?
Well, it changes it from the standpoint of why he was so effective when he went into the bowling alley and to the restaurant. It also changes because he has this 20 years of experience in terms of military tactics, working with the military, probably land navigation, water navigation as a part of the National Guard, and then certainly how to handle weapons and possibly storing and having weapons, because that's what firearms instructors do typically. So it changes it from that perspective, I think, Chris.
So, first of all, who thinks he's alive?
Well, I think that if he were alive, he would probably be acting rather than just hiding. I think there's a high probability that he took his own life or put himself in a situation where he's not going to survive.
I hope you're right. Jennifer, do you think that they're having a hard time finding him because it's a still body?
I am so on the fence on this one. I can't decide whether he was so profoundly wise to leave this note and to leave it purposefully, perhaps because he thought he would end up killing himself, as about 40% of active shooter and mass shooters do.
Let me interrupt.
And committing
Let me interrupt. You're right on the stats, whether it's death by cop or they think they're going to fight their way out, or they shoot themselves when they're done shooting or in the midst of shooting others. Okay. However, the note, and then you can just wave this off, Jen or Jim. The note doesn't say, you're never going to see me again. I'm going to kill myself. But first, I'm going to settle these scores with, whatever madness was living in his mind. He said, I don't think I'm going to survive this, is the language I keep seeing reported as in the letter. I don't have the letter. But isn't that a difference? That I don't think I'm going to survive this doesn't sound like a I'm going to kill myself note. It's they'll probably kill me for what I'm going to do, Jen.
Well, and that makes a lot more sense. Sorry, Jim.
No, go ahead. But I think that this, you said it earlier, Chris, you can't try to make sense out of somebody who's being irrational, somebody who's suffering hallucinations. May not be, their logic is going to be so different than yours and mine. But at that same time, that could be an indicator of paranoia, which again sort of feeds this whole endless cycle of paranoia and then wanting to get back at people, and then having all these injustices that he's collected, and he wants to gain retribution for them. So he's a dangerous person if he's alive. The danger comes from his actively shooting people, and we haven't seen or heard anything from him in over 2 days, right? So I think he's either really, really far off the deep end in terms of his mental stability right now, or he's probably gone.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.